Planes were made to fly, and cars were made to drive. The sun was made to rise and set from the east into the west.
Hello, this is Hilary Robertson. Welcome to the latest episode of Harmonious World. For this episode, I'm joined by singer-songwriter Drew Angus. Drew's latest single, Made to Love You, is produced by Grammy Award winner Mikhail Pivovarov. What's particularly nice about this single is that it features some cello, which is fabulous. I hope you enjoy listening to my conversation with Drew. Hey.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me here on Harmonious World. And you're joining me from New York, and I'm just north of London, so across the world. And we're enjoying listening to your single, which is just out now.
Thank you. Yes. Made to Love You.
Yeah. So this is a great story behind this. So tell me how Made to Love You started out.
So Made to Love You is, I can't say that I've really experienced love in my life quite yet. It usually ends in heartbreak, but my best friend certainly has. And this is kind of a story of songwriters going fishing for songs and at the last minute finding just the right song, and kind of the marriage of two friends and their 11-year love story kind of meeting. Sometime shortly before the pandemic really kind of went into full lockdown mode, I was fishing as one does for a song with my co-writer Matt Giella. And Matt and I spent probably 3 hours that day trying to write a hit. And every time you try to sit down and write a hit, it doesn't come. So the session starts to wrap up, and Matt says, "Hey, I've got this idea. Before we go, it's a ballad, but let me play it." Sure. We didn't really get anything that day. Songwriting is like fishing. It doesn't matter if you have the best rod. Sometimes even when you throw it in, you don't catch one. So he shares this kind of, the planes were made to fly, cars were made to drive. No. And a little bit of a melody idea, and kind of, I was made to love you. I was put on earth for this. Just some light skeletal ideas of the song, and it hit me right. It hit me just right, and we sat down and started writing it. And actually, later that week, my childhood friend called me and said, "Hey, we'd really like for you to sing our first dance at our wedding." And so by trade, I'm a wedding singer. I play lots of weddings, and so I put on the wedding band leader hat and rattled off 50 of the first dance wedding songs that I've sung over the last many years, and kind of hung up the phone and went about my business, and then realized, wait a minute, hang on. I just started writing this song that seems really, really like it's right down the alley, and so I sent Ben a voice memo and said, what do you think of this? And he said, I love it. So Matt and I got together later that week, finished the song with my friend's 11-year love story in mind, and that's how Made to Love You came to be.
Fantastic. And so has the wedding happened yet, or is it still to come?
It did happen.
And did they love it?
They loved it. Their parents wept. Tears of happiness were shed, and it was really nice.
Yeah, and it's a great song. Regardless. I mean, I love the story behind it. It's a proper pop song. You could do it, but with a different arrangement, massive big band or something.
Sure. Yeah. In kind of testing the song, when after the wedding happened, and I started playing it out a little bit more frequently. People were, where can I find this? Where can I find this? We want to listen to this. And I asked Ben and his wife's permission. Do you mind if I put the song out? And they were, "Yeah, absolutely, put it out." And their parents were all, "Put it out. Get
Yeah.
this out into the world. It's a great song." We did a couple of different iterations of it, and kind of settled in this one. And in production, it's funny. You kind of like, you want to do something that's original and creative and fresh, but you also want to keep it somewhat consonant with what exists out there. So it's like being an artist is also being a business,
Right.
and so you want to keep it kind of competitive, and I put it up against Ed Sheeran's Perfect. I think it holds up.
It does. No, it absolutely does. And I hope it flies away. So, good luck with it, really.
Me too.
Yeah. So talk to me about your background and how you've become the singer that you are now.
Well, it really started. I went to school for music, and had an interesting experience in college. But my music journey really started after college when I moved to New York. I'd kind of dabbled in songwriting, and I always wanted to. I'd been in bands as a kid, but I really kind of found my voice through a few teachers along the way, Marlon Saunders and Skip Brevis and Matt Edwards, really phenomenal players, teachers, and folks who are doing great things in their parts of the industry. And I spent a lot of time playing dive bars and learning what songs and what kinds of things get people excited and dancing. Also, what make people leave the bar. But I also, spent time down in Nashville, and I wrote with tons of different people. And then at some point, my full-time job was taking up too much time for my music, and I just kind of went on my way. And I've gotten to tour with Mark Broussard. I've I've gotten to sing background on Saturday Night Live. I've gotten to sing behind Harry Styles. I've worked behind Jonas Blue and some pop artists like Jack and Jack, and sung in a choir behind Andrea Bocelli, and it's been a wild several years now.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I hope that we get to enjoy you kind of over here properly. So what has lockdown meant for you? Is New York coming out now?
New York is finally seeing the sunshine again. They're coming out of lockdown. There's music on the streets again. Winter is gone, and Mother Nature's being nice, and everybody's getting vaccinated. So it's good. Lockdown, I think, has taught me several things. It's taught me about my mental health. Um, Interestingly, I in kind of looking back on 2020, and where I was headed. If we had talked at the beginning of January of 2020, that year was going to be an explosion for me. I had tours lined up. I had writing camps, and I was supposed to be in March, the week after everything shut down over here. I was supposed to be in a castle in Pitlochry, Scotland,
Oh, wow.
writing songs with folks from Eurovision and Universal Music Group and artists and producers for a week, and that obviously didn't happen. And had plans to do some release stuff, but at the end of 2020, I looked back at the goals that I had set, and what I'd accomplished, and I went far above and beyond. So I learned about my mental health. I discovered what anxiety was, I think, and I don't. Uh, it's not fun.
No.
I think we all experienced some form of anxiety and depression. but I did more with my original music and created more content and more video and more music than I would ever have if I had worked the way I was working in 2019 and 2018 and 2017. So I think actually it was a great reset. I think it was a good redirection of priorities of uh, understanding my place in music and understanding my place as a songwriter, as a performer, uh, as a worker in music.
Right.
So I think it was good.
So what does the world look like now?
Well, it's a little overcast today. It's about 65 Fahrenheit. Uh,
I don't know what that means in
um,
real money. In America you talk in Fahrenheit and we talk in centigrade. But yeah, so what does the musical world look like for you?
the musical world is it's rich. I'm really excited. Uh, gigs are gigs that afford me to do my original music are coming back. Tours and original music is coming back. Um, we have a music video that's coming out on Friday for Made to Love You, and um, I'm really excited. Obviously, there's a bit of hesitancy when talking about the future and kind of putting plans in place, just because who knows, we just experienced the most bizarre year of our lives.
Right.
But I'm optimistic and excited for more tours with Mark Broussard, some regional things, and while all the artists and booking agents are scrambling to get holds and dates for their artists in 2021 and 2022 and as far out as 2023, I've kind of found this interesting little microcosm of fans that are based in Brazil. And so while everybody's scrambling to get everything in the States together, I'm going to explore going south, what that could potentially look like.
Fantastic.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Good. Well, let's hope that you end up doing a big tour and you come to the UK and then we can all see you, and that'd be great.
That's next.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Hillary.
Thank you for listening to my conversation with Drew, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please do subscribe wherever you find your podcasts, and you can also leave me a review. My social media handles are all in the show notes, so please do connect with me. I'd love to know what musicians you've enjoyed particularly listening to, and I have some great musicians lined up for the rest of this season and then for the start of season 5. Thanks again for joining me on Harmonious World.
I was made to love you. I was put on earth for this. You're my reason for living, my one and only purpose. I was made to love you. I was made to love you. I was made to love you.
Thank you for listening to the latest episode of Harmonious World. My name is Hilary Seabrook, and it's a great delight to bring this series of discussions with musicians and composers and writers and all sorts of people to you. Obviously, there's no point in having a podcast if people aren't listening, and I'm very grateful to my listeners for doing so. Thanks also to Joe English for composing and performing this new theme tune. So wherever you get your podcast, you can leave a review. You can share this with your friends and family, either as a link or on social media and that sort of thing. I'd be really grateful for that. Don't forget that you can subscribe now. There's a link wherever you get your podcasts. So have a great week, and please remember why I started this, which is just to try and make the world a little more harmonious. Thanks for listening to Harmonious World.